What's up, guys? Good morning here across the upper Midwest, obviously. Um, so we have thunderstorms here, which is your morning convection here, starting to come in pretty quick this morning. It's already going to be moving out. It seems like if I switch over to radars here, um, I can see different point of views on radars here of where there's more activity. It looks like there is a little bit more activity back across Iowa, and that convection is moving off to the northeast fairly quickly as well. Very fast moving elevated showers and storms. These storms also should leave behind a outflow boundary across portions of Illinois down south into Indiana, possibly leading to isolated supercell initiation in the open warm sector later on this afternoon and evening. Um, but right now, we have the morning convection with a lot of thunder and lightning that you guys are hearing out there that's moving across the Chicagoland area currently. Northern Indiana, southeast Wisconsin, and now moving into portions of west central Michigan. So a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder with these storms this morning. Maybe some penny-sized hail with the stronger cores and updrafts for the most part. Um, but let's go ahead and jump into details here about for today. So today they issued their first ever high risk, which is what I was predicting down south. But they haven't changed much of anything for northern Illinois yet. I still think there's a chance for some good isolated supercells up here if the clearing happens. So I'm going to stick to my forecast up there. But then you obviously have um, the supercells develop off a boundary out here as well ahead of the main line. So there's going to be two areas that I'm watching here for significant severe weather today of possible tornadoes. You got the high risk down south. Obviously, I won't be surprised they spread that 15% hatch more into central eastern Indiana later on today. I wouldn't be surprised they even add a 10% for northern Illinois at least for today. Once the clearing becomes more evidence. Morning convection is moving out currently right now, which is what I'm currently watching. We just need more confidence, obviously, to know that there's going to be storm initiation later on today across northern Illinois. Because if, let's say, there isn't, waiting to see what happens at this point if northern Illinois does become recovered or if it doesn't. Because there's still more thunderstorm development coming out of the Missouri and Kansas border. It's pushing off to the northeast, so that could create more cloud cover for portions of central and northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, even portions downstate as well. So we have to wait to see how much clearing we have left over after all the storms that do pass this morning in the mid-morning hours leaves us behind what atmosphere. Is it that I'm going to recover very quickly? Does it heat up very quickly? Do we get a cumulus fill? Do we get a boundary left over? We have to wait and see for the next few hours now what's going to happen with this morning convection, because that will either limit the severe weather potential across northern Illinois and give the southern mode more enhanced ability because it has clearing and leftover boundaries. So, but northern Illinois is still in play for the possible chance of some tornadoes and even some possible strong tornadoes as well if we get clearing like we're supposed to by the late or morning hours at least. If it doesn't clear up by at least 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. for northern Illinois or 11 a.m. time frame, then you would probably count northern Illinois out of the play for severe weather. So just keep eyes to the sky. If we do see broken cloud cover, you see sunlight peeking through between 10 and 11 a.m., then it's going to increase our chances by big time for severe weather to finally recover the atmosphere up there and new storms develop around the mid to late afternoon hours. So it's just a waiting game at this point to see what happens. With the high risk down south, obviously, it is a tornado-driven high risk. They got a 30% hatch down south for tornadoes. 30% hatch for tornadoes includes Mayfield, Union City, Tennessee, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Sikeston, Missouri. So there's definitely a high risk for tornadoes down here. And we were just down here the other day as well. And that 15% and 10% tornado risk extends in the same area that I was mentioning. So this whole area right here, they think is going to be the biggest concern for tornadoes out ahead of the main line. So they think tornadic supercells are going to develop in this environment and go berserk. So just be very aware. And like I said, Northern Illinois is still in a 5% tornado risk. So just because it's not the doesn't mean you're not going to see tornadoes. The reason why it's 5% up there is because it's still conditional based on the clearing skies. So you have two areas of interest here for tornadoes, obviously. So we just have to wait and see which one produces, which one doesn't. Because the southern mode can still bust. On some of the forecast models, it shows it that it is too messy of convection. It's more linear. There's just a lot of strong embedded tornadoes within the line, while the north mode is more isolated and more photogenic. So we just have to wait and see and which outcome actually comes out. And there's going to be some very large hailstones today. Obviously, um, you got significant hailstones all the way from the Chicago area down south into North Dallas. So in the Black Hatch area, you can see hailstones up to 2 inch or greater. In the red area, you can see hailstones 2 inch or 3 inch or greater. So either or at this point, right? You're gonna have isolated supercells breaking out across a large area of the warm sector. But that's your high risk for today's down south today for tornadoes. That's the first ever high risk issued in a very long time, especially at 30% driven high risk for tornadoes. So it's been a very long time we've seen one of those. Um, oh, window capture. I was trying to find where it was. Okay. So here's our satellite this morning. Let's back out a little bit more further here to look at the visible satellite here. See, you got some thunderstorms activity blowing up in northeast Oklahoma, the Missouri and Kansas border, and these guys seem to be pushing east northeast very quickly. I don't know if air storms are going to develop out ahead of this, and northern Illinois stays in the cloud cover throughout much of the day. Um, if northern Illinois stays in much of the cloud cover because all the anvils from these thunderstorms are pushing north, like into northeast or eastern Iowa right now, currently in northern Illinois, then northern Illinois would be in the clouds much of the day, which would limit the severe weather substantially for northern Illinois, which would be good because no one has to worry about severe weather up there. But that still has a huge clearing out ahead of these storms across portions of southern Illinois right now and southern Indiana. So yeah, your 850 millibar jet core is just insane. I mean, it's over 65, 70 knots. Internet's a bit slow this morning, guys. Sorry for that. Here's your tornado parameters um, on an AM3 kilometer model. Central and northeast Illinois getting in some of this activity to the north and northeast. And then you have stronger tornado perimeters down to the south. So if we click on a box down in here across portions of the southern tip of Illinois, you can definitely see why they went high risk down here. Um, Carbondale, you're in the high risk for tornadoes today. Yeah, you're in the high risk for tornadoes down there today. Just be careful. This is your sounding down there near Carbondale. This tip for today. I mean, it is fairly largely curved photograph for very strong, violent, long track tornadoes. EF3 plus tornadoes are possible down there today for Carbondale area. So just be careful. Um, your dynamics are very supportive of this. Very supportive. To be honest, I might just go south. Um, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait an hour and see what happens, and then I'm gonna plan on going south if it's south is the play. Um, because it's just it's a conditional threat up here. But this is the first high risk of the year is down there. So I'm still waiting for models to just finally agree on each other, but none of the models are really picking up on convection or overly convecting or where the convection is supposed to be in the right area, which is messing up the future reflectivity on every single model right now. But the NAM3KM model paints a very scary picture for STP, which is significant tornado perimeters later on today across a wide area. Um, I'm not even looking at the HER anymore because the HER is just so off. I think the RAT model's out for lunch too. This the placement is just not correct, and it's lacking moisture to the north. That's gonna be wrong. Let's see here. So there you go. You got your easterly winds. The warm front's coming north. You can see you got your southerly surface winds there as well. Look at your instability. 2 hours. This is RAT mesoanalysis. See, these storms that are ongoing right now are going to be the ones that pass through, and then behind that, the winds turn southerly and southeasterly behind that as well. And that's where you get new convection near the low that goes into northern Illinois. Now, if these storms that are ongoing right now finally leave out and the atmosphere recovers in northern Illinois, we'll see tornadic supercells. So it's really strongly dependent on this convection that's still slightly far away. Huh. It's going to be a really fun day of cat and mouse. This convection is still really, really far away. So we gotta wait for this convection to move out completely. And it goes all the way up to the north like this. And it's kind of moving in a northeast or north-northeast direction. See, there's our morning convection still. I don't know if stuff down south is going to develop out ahead of this, and then we get tornadic supercells and this line reforms again, or this dies off, moving to the east, and then new stuff develops off its boundary or behind it. Two different scenarios, I'm wondering. Either way, it's not looking good for northern Illinois because if we're stuck in the clouds, we can't recover and get new thunderstorm development. So that limits the severe potential substantially. Even though there's a very dynamic system, um, clouds can ruin the whole thing. So just keep that in mind. You need sunlight to get storms going. Energy. Cape. Alright guys, stay tuned for later updates and I'll get back to you guys soon.